While we wait for Mary Beth to come on, how's everybody doing?
Great, thank you. How you doing, Patty?
I'm good.
Fantabulous.
Hi, Ariane.
Hey, how are you,
Excellent.
Daniel?
Excellent. How are the appointments this week?
Good. Good activity.
Buyers or sellers?
Buyers.
One seller, and a bunch of buyers.
Okay. Biggest issue out there right now?
Getting outbid.
Okay, nothing new, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Feeling the market change at all?
I've heard it is, but no, personally.
Yeah. It's cracking a little bit. Hey, Roddy. It's cracking a little bit. I'm hearing
Need
things. I
to
mean, it's still very
unmute.
much a seller's market. Yeah,
For
Roddy,
sure.
going to say something?
No, I just apologize. It was muted.
Okay.
Patty, I'll be right back. Ladies room.
Okay. Okay.
Too much information.
TMI.
Sorry.
I'm hearing things are still going over, way over, but instead of there being, what was the expression, seagulls on French fries? There are fewer bids coming in, still going way over asking, but fewer involved
Leaving?
in the bidding war.
Oh, okay.
Patty, do you think that's just related to also people on summer vacation, or I don't know? What do you think?
Yeah, we were talking about that. You know, it's last year, many of us forget whatever the expression was, vacation. We stayed home. We were afraid to go out. We were afraid to mingle. And after a year and a half of being cooped up and some degree of normalcy, some people with, double vaccine are getting out of Dodge. They're expecting the travel industry, that this is going to be one of the best years of people traveling. I think even AAA is saying local traffic on highways and stuff is exceeding. Yeah. So, yeah, you know what? Maybe it's a return to seasonality for those of you who may have been in the business pre-pandemic. We always did slow down with new business in June, July, and August, but we were very busy with closings. And then we picked up again in early fall. Our spring market has been historically temperature dependent. In other words, if we're having a mild January, the buyers will come out. Buyers always come out before sellers. We've tried to convince our sellers, come on, there are buyers out there. List, now's the time. Get ahead of your competitors, but they hold back. They want the daffodils blooming before they put the house on the market. Wrong strategy. So if we have a mild January, the buyers will come out. If we have a very cold, freezing rain, snow January, it's going to wait till it warms up a wee bit. Once we start hitting those 90-degree days in May and June, we slow down. Plus, we also have historically graduations, weddings, other religious ceremonies in June. And and then in the fall market is frequently calendar dependent. It starts to heat up after the Jewish holidays and goes very strong until just before Thanksgiving.
Mhm.
So we may be returning to our normal seasonality. Mary Beth, we're just talking about, some people are saying there's a slight change. This is where it's so important to be in the market every day. You feel it before anybody else.
Yeah. So who said that? Who said there's a slight change?
I've heard a couple people say it. I heard
Okay.
Kelly Weber say it. Yeah, other realtors
That just means,
outside the company.
like, to your point though, is that means that you're in the market. Because if you can notice that there is a change, and there has been a change for sure in the last couple of weekends, and Patty's point is, This is going to be the next like 6 weeks or so is just like funky. And you have to understand it, because if you're on the listing side, this is where one of our agents I was talking to yesterday got one offer on her property, and it was $100 over the asking price. So I said, wow. So I guess the agent must have believed that there may or may not be an offer on this property, because you must have let them think that there was an offer for them to go 100 over asking, but they weren't even competing with anybody.
Mm.
So that was twofold, was like, okay, I'm proud of her because she was a sharp listing specialist. Because you guys have to remember, when you are representing a seller, you do have to play a little bit of the game. You can't give away all of the cookies. You can't let them know what's going on, so that agent is going to read you and they're going to tell their client where to come in at. I mean, it's just what's going to happen.
Mhm.
So, but for her to not have multiple offers on the property that we're talking about was very shocking to me.
Mhm.
That's number one. Number two is I just had a situation where the buyer did get the second runner up got called for the house. So the first buyer that the seller went with, they killed the contract. Why? Because remember, our buyers are feeling like they are putting everything on the table. They have to put multiple offers on many properties. They go look at 5-6 houses in a weekend. They have to put 3 different offers on 3 different properties, because what if they don't get the first choice? Maybe they get the second choice. So that's another thing as far as sellers and buyers. You have to understand that temperature is now they put all 3 offers, one goes forward. Well, the second one also they got, so now they killed the first deal. Well, my buyers were backup and they were so excited about getting in there. But then when they got in there, they realized, wait, I feel like I'm overpaying. I don't like the language in this contract. And they backed out. So now number 2 backed out. So here's my message to you guys as the buyer's agents running around. Like, are you following up with the houses that you didn't get, that you were told your backup buyer number 1, backup buyer number 2? You see it come back on the market. Now here's another skill. You're watching the market every day. So you see, oh, back on market. Oh, this one was an ARIP, ARIP, right? Attorney review and process. And now it's back active. Here's what some people go, oh, what that house, there must be something wrong with that house. Oh, no, that's not the case.
Mhm.
And if it doesn't come into your feed as a new listing, you might miss it because it's back on market. So you have to be looking at the market all the time, because those pieces of those properties that get put back on the shelf, there's nothing wrong with them. It's just that the first buyer didn't perform. That's most likely what happened. It's not like it fell apart because of inspection. They probably didn't even get there. The buyer backs out because they got another property or they didn't like the language. And now it's your skill set to be hunting for those houses. If you're really trying to represent your buyers, you need to be hunting for the houses. And it's not just going to be the pretty cute new ones that pop into your feed every morning.
Mary Beth, to your point, I'd like to add 2 things. First of all, I think on the MLS, you can check a listing to follow it.
Yes.
Number 1. And number 2, if you see something that your buyers you think would like, or that maybe they did like but lost out, keep an eye. If it's been in attorney review and it's not getting out of attorney review, red flag. Call the listing agent and say, hey, I see it's in attorney review now for 7 days. Is there an issue? Should I alert my buyers?
Patty, to that point is, I have a showing agent that takes care of that stuff, right? So I'm saying to him, hey, did we get out of review with this yet? He's like, no. I'm like, we went in on Friday. It's Wednesday. So now my buyers were not having any communication because they were frozen. They're first time home buyers, and they just felt very pushed to their backs to the wall. Now, nobody was, and so I said, radio silence from the buyers is not good. I got on a call with them today just to check in to make sure we're still like, they had some self-discovery. They had to realize, you know what, we really didn't want to go as high as 355. We really do want to stay near a train line. I don't know how we ended up in this town over here that would take me an extra 15, 20 minutes just to get to the train. So you do have to be kid gloves with them, okay? Because for me, being in the business this long, I'm like, this is ridiculous. Oh my God. I have no time. but I had to go. Let me put my hat on for a second. These people have never bought a house before. This is very new. They're a new couple. So they have to make big decisions together, different styles. We have to be sensitive to that. And so in talking through, I said to them, look, it's okay that you want to change the way you're going. I'm glad that you self-discovered it now, instead of we're out of attorney review under contract and you really can't get out, but to kill it through, you know, a
Whatever.
denial on a mortgage, which we're not going to get denied. So hello. But what I'm saying about that is emotions, like we don't just think that your buyers, you get them into a house and it's over, or your sellers, you have a great listing appointment and it's over. This is now going to be a relationship that you're in until that day of closing on their property, and hopefully beyond that. But this is a true, you got to come from care and candor. You need to be honest. You need to be able to address the hard conversations that you have to have with your buyers and sellers in a professional way. But do not let that time go by to where then they do go and call somebody else because they're embarrassed to now tell me really what happened. And now all of those hours and time and everything we were working towards goes to the wayside because I didn't feel like talking to them about it. Right now, what I wanted to say was, we had a conversation today, to Patty's point, about the market in July and August and what should come in September. And like, I can tell you right now, I know 5 agents that are on vacation this week, right? We have people that are going and taking kids to college tours, taking their kids to college in August. There'll be a big, you know, middle of the month, they're sending their kids off. We don't know what school's going to be like for a lot of kids in September. Like, are they going back? Some kids are thinking maybe they're not. Even if they are all going back, now they got to readjust going back. So I'm sure there's that time that people have to spend with their kids. And it's hot. It's really hot. So you also have buyer fatigue. You have a buyer that's been looking at houses since May, and here we are in July and they still haven't secured anything. They might take a break on you. So I just want you to be ready for that and understand that you have to talk people through it.
Don't take it personally if they're not returning your calls. Don't take it personally, but don't take your foot off the pedal either. Stay in touch with them. It's your responsibility to be making the calls.
Yeah. And so then what we see in September, everybody gets back to normal. Everybody gets back to schedule, but don't think anything real big life changing is going to happen on Labor Day weekend. The week before that, that's like everybody's trying to get their last weekend in to go do something. So I want you to be mindful of your time too, because those might be times where you give yourself a little bit of a break. You get some downtime too. Now, as far as putting a house on the market, if you're talking with people about putting a house on the market, here's what I want you to understand is that then one is, I don't advise anybody. I see people put a house on the market on a Monday, and that's like you're asking for problems. You put a house on the market on a Monday, the buyer who's been waiting for that house to come out goes and sees it Monday night. They put an offer out, but what are you going to do? You're going to wait it out until you get to the weekend because you want to have your open house. You want to get your sellers the most exposure to get whatever buyers really want to come look at this house. And so then you lose anybody who came to see it Monday and Tuesday. They're pissed off. Yeah. They're going to wait. They go find something else. You know, you get annoyed.
The seller is greedy.
Yeah. So I just want to advise you all that when you go take a listing, you should put the house on the market on like a Wednesday. You know, pick your day, but it should be midweek. It should be a Wednesday. Wednesday gives it enough time to hit all of the MLS and the syndications. So, because here's what happens. It happened to me. On a Thursday night, we're sitting there trying to figure out what houses we're going to go see Saturday. Well, on Friday, my day's booked. So I'm not looking for new houses. But now new houses are coming on the market on a Friday, and I'm not going to stick them in. So, because my day's already scheduled, we're already going to see 6 houses. Do you think I want to rearrange them to stick another 2 houses in between that? No, I'm not going to. So now my buyers missed that house. But here's the deal. If you don't give your seller another weekend of exposure, then they'll miss that buyer. So as much as we gotta, and I know there's a lot of work for you guys, right? As much as we gotta learn how to present, we gotta learn how to script and like get people into our world. We gotta make sure we're marketing ourselves and keeping a consistent message out there. We also then, when we get the client, we need to understand, hey, how do I really need to consult these people right now? What does the whole picture look like? Because yeah, we put it on the market, we have all these showings, we have an open house, buyers come through, we get an offer, yay! In 1 weekend, you're going under contract, Mr. Seller. Well, what if they didn't get an offer?
Right.
We got to go
That's
to
what we're
another.
going to start to run into, I think.
We are, and that's
Yeah.
normal. Patty and I have been in a relationship with people for a year and they sell, like, gone through the 6-month contract, they need to relist. How about that conversation? None of you have had to have that, but all of you will eventually, if you plan on staying in the business. And a normal market is like a 5-month market
Mhm.
that the house is going to be on. You're going to be able to go in and maybe put an offer on it. You're not going to have to offer above asking. That's the other thing. I don't know if Bella's here. I was on the phone with Bella. Yeah. Bella was looking at a property today in Plainfield. And as we were looking at the comps, you know, I just said to her, look, 359 sold for 400. 329 sold for 357. And she was like, wow, every single property was going over asking.
Wow.
Now, I'd be curious to see if we're there, because I think, you guys can tell me if you're feeling like this. I think our sellers have now like caught up to where things are selling. So even though they are asking that, they're probably going to get that. Whereas 3 months ago, the seller who was asking 3.25 is getting 350. Now that same neighbor is putting it on at 350 and maybe getting 350, 360. So the list to sell ratio is much more in line with the newer properties that we're seeing hit the market than a property that came on in February. I was looking at a property that came on in February that was like 15%. It was worth 15% more today than it was in February. Like that's that's huge.
Big jump.
A normal market only increased 4 to 6% a year. I'm talking about 15% in 3-4 months.
Mhm.
But who drives that? The buyers drive that. The buyer's needs drive that. The buyer's urgency, the buyer's motivation, all of that is driven by the buyer.
And it's almost symbiotic in that buyers hear about other buyers. Oh my God, they're buying a house. Maybe I should. You know,
Yeah.
buyers, it almost becomes a herd mentality.
Well, and sellers too, like, oh, she's selling down the street. Well, hold on, what is mine worth? Let me see what I could get for mine.
Yeah.
And that's another, not to rabbit hole, but that goes to the circle prospecting, guys. Even if you didn't sell anything yet, circle prospecting around closed properties is very necessary for you to be doing it. Every single one of you can study a market, just like I did today with Bella. I know nothing about Plainfield. I know there's a South one, but I know nothing about Plainfield. So I know you do, Ariane. If you need to go to Plainfield, you just give it to Ariane. She'll close them up for you. But in studying that market, I feel like I know about Plainfield. We looked at the map, we looked at the MLS, I was able to study it. Why couldn't I'm being one of you right now, go into MLS and print out, and John, I got you in a second. Why couldn't I go print out a market snapshot and go walk the neighborhood with the just solds on the back, 3 or 4 just solds, and walk the neighborhood and just let them know, hey, this is what's going on in your neighborhood. Would you like me to give you equity analysis? Would you like me to, I'm still not seeing, I know I've been singing that tune for a while. I haven't seen anybody really do it at a high level, and I'd love to hear about it when you do. John?
I'm sorry, there's a 70-year-old mind. And I had a question and it went out of my head just like that. It was the greatest question you ever had. You'll never hear a better question, but I forgot. Sorry.
It'll come to you, John. It'll
I
come.
hope so.
Have a
Yeah.
pen and paper right next to you and write it down.
What is it, ginkgo biloba or something? Was it ginkgo
Yeah.
biloba?
I can't remember.
What's up, Disco?
Hey, so yeah, on that note, I worked in open house this weekend, and as I was collecting all the signs and stuff, a neighbor came by and she said, hey, not came by, but asked me, hey, what's going on with that house? I knew the mom, I'm really concerned that my kid didn't even want to go in because he was so sad about her not living there anymore. And then we got into a conversation, and turns out she's getting divorced, and she, was curious about the price, what the house is selling for. So I have to now follow up in that neighborhood with her with the CMA, and then prospect that whole neighborhood. So yeah, it's a good idea. It's a really good idea.
Awesome. Now, don't sleep on that, because it's a fresh conversation for her. We do it every day. We're thinking, oh, I'll get back to her next week or so. It was fresh for her. Do it this week. Get it to her before the weekend.
She said she has a 5, in 5 years, but I then followed up and said, well, just to let you know, these are the numbers that are happening. Like, this is the market. This is the time to kind of move on it. If you can locate, or if we can help you locate another place that you could live in, would that be helpful? So she's like, oh, let me think about it. But you're right. Yes, I definitely have to pounce on that.
Yeah, strike while the iron's hot.
We tend to forget what it's like. We have to put ourselves as consumers and think, if you have a conversation with someone and you were quasi expecting something from them, the sooner the consumer receives it, the more impressed with you they're going to be.
That's right. That's right. That's really the point, right? Is to just show how quickly you work, because understand you're all being interviewed at all times. Okay. If you show up sloppy to a party, he's a little sloppy. If you're cursing up a storm, I don't really like the way he talks. If you're a little snippy or a little nasty, you're not nice with the Wendy's girl when you go to order your fast food. You never know who's standing there going like, I know that girl. I've seen her marketing pieces. She's a nasty girl. Yeah. Like you're always being interviewed. I can remember my mom and I went into like Value City one day, and I looked so sloppy. I had like a tank top, like hot mess. And I remember seeing one of my favorite clients, the DeMesas, and I was like, I don't know if I could say hello looking like this. Oh my God. And I almost missed the opportunity to reconnect because I wasn't comfortable with the way I was appearing, right? So just keep that in mind, that as a real estate professional, you're always being interviewed. Yeah. And especially, Dan, when you're outside of the house, that you're picking up your signs, picking up and putting out signs is a lead generation activity. Okay. You need to make sure you're available. Even when people are driving by that corner, you're like, hey, how you doing? Yeah, open house that way.
So one more thing on that. So at the end of the open house, I was really tired, and it was way past the time. It was about 35 minutes, 40 minutes past.
You were tired. What are you tired for?
Yeah, it was a lot of people.
Okay. How many people? Do tell.
It was about 30, 35-ish or so. Yeah.
Coming through the house. Okay.
Yeah, and that's what I mean, like units.
And how many hours?
2.
How many hours, Dan?
2.
35 groups of people in 2 hours.
Yeah, it's 15 an hour.
Yeah. Were there stairs?
No, thankfully. No.
You got long legs though, so okay.
I'm just an empath though. I take in that energy and I just kind of crash afterwards. Anyway,
sure.
my point is, at the end I'm taking the flag out of the front, and I'm just tired, and I wasn't even thinking. I'm a nice person. Of course, I'm never going to reject, but I wasn't really present. And someone was trying to come in, and my first reaction, I was like, yep. Yeah, we're kind of closing up. Anyway, so I backtrack. I said, you know what? Actually, I'm so sorry. Like, yes, of course, come on in, And this guy is an investor, and he flips, and he's like, yeah, I wanted to know what I could price my ranch for, So that's a whole other ball of worms right now, can of worms right there. So it's just, it's a lesson learned. Just don't be a jerk. You never know. Once again, the last person that you interact with is the golden ticket, So yeah.
Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
You exposed yourself a bit, and we appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The human.
For sure. It reminds me of I have like really a lot of stories, guys, but it reminds me of a time back in the day when I was selling, and I had this little boy named Patim knock on the door, pound on the door. Actually, his father, Nicky, the Bochestas, they're pounding on the door, and I already locked the office door Now I got these two big guys pounding on the door, like, we need a house, we need a house. And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
They were one of my most enjoyable clients, enjoyable customers. I was able to help them move from Brooklyn into Manalapan. And so you just never know. You be available. I mean, what are you shutting the door for? I mean, I know Danny was saying he was a little tired or whatnot, but the whole point of you being there was so you could connect with people to fill your database so that you could follow up and service clients. So there was the opportunity. And I can say this, I've seen the agent that goes, nope, shutting down, not going to do that. And you all may have been there at one point, but there's the sweetness on the other side of it, that that client appreciates that you said, nah, you know what, let me open this up for you again. Let me, you know,
Again,
come on in. I'm here anyway.
It's taking care of someone else, and sometimes at the expense of yourself. It's putting the client first. Mhm.
Yep. Now, to Danny's point, though, he's got these people now, two people I just heard of, that they should be where? What would you do with these two people?
Oh, already followed up. So,
Okay, so
yeah.
put them into a database, put them into your phone, so it's easy for you to text them, and also put them into your electronic database, which we all have commands.
Yep,
And
okay.
then set them onto a campaign. I will tell you that Reese, I don't know if you saw Patty, but Reese, along with somebody else, they're going to be creating some smart plans for buyers and sellers that you all will be able, like, you know, Jersey language, and you'll be able to just, you know, click on the plan.
It'll be in
and
the
start-
library, the
Yep. it'll be in
command
the
library.
Yep. And you'll just have to go look for Reese Serino. She's the author
Perfect.
of them. Okay.
Perfect.
And so we need to follow up. And I would also encourage you, if you have any personal addresses, or if you don't, go find them on the tax record. Get as much information as you can and write them a handwritten note. It was great speaking with you. Look forward to hopefully helping you.
Or, sorry, I missed you. Hope we connect the next time I
Yeah.
call you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, real easy. Put your business card in, put your, at least your name on the envelope in the return address area.
So so now with the rest of the summer, what are some activities that you are doing to generate some new leads? Anybody have anything planned that you're working towards? I know Ariane is working on some distressed property type of strategies. Is anybody else working on a strategy to go towards a niche, or a strategy for sellers or buyers that you're working?
Well, I just
Roddy,
connected to
Angie,
my,
Parul. Mhm.
I just went over the expired listings in the town that I live.
Great.
So I actually wrote each one of them a handwritten letter and sent it to them. But now I'm going to follow up with phone calls.
Fantastic. Awesome. And you just used your MLS and you looked in your town, and she looked for expireds, and then she just identified them. Now, Angie, did you go back? How many years back did you go?
I
A
don't
few?
remember. I can look it up. Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
2 years. I think 2 years. I
Okay.
think 2
So
years.
yeah, so hopefully a few, because the fresh expireds may be few. And people that expired 2 years ago can probably get their price now, and maybe their situation has changed. So expireds, you would just look on MLS, you would pull expireds, expired status, this date to that date, and then what you would do is check the history on those properties to see if they haven't been relisted and sold again. So it may be a day of work to cross-reference that to see, okay, are these now my 20 expireds that I'm going to go call? When I started with 100 that I saw on the MLS, but 80 of them actually did relist and sell. You will have to do that work for yourself. And then you will have your list, and then you can attack it. But there is work to be done, as we talked about even this morning on the call. You have to know who you're calling. Roddy, what are you specific agenda?
On, work with the client that's looking for property on Greenwood Lake on the New Jersey side. He's got an agent that he's working with on the New York side, prefers New Jersey.
Okay.
And unfortunately, he was working on a deal. It fell through with New York. Very unhappy because he sold his house and he closes at the end of August.
Oh,
So
where's he living?
he's living in Bergenfield at the moment.
Okay. So to that, and so I asked, oh, where's he living? That is, you have to be a problem solver. That situation right there, this person doesn't have a place to live in a month and a half. What are we
Right.
going to do to get him into a house? What other solutions do we have? Do we have long-term stay? Do we have family? Do we have a short-term rental? You know,
Yeah.
that's how you help somebody make the move. Otherwise, that guy goes, I can't move. Forget it. I'm killing the sale. I'm not selling my house anymore.
Right.
And the
And-
long-term stays, I have a friend who sold her house, went into a long-term stay just to do it temporarily. It's been over a year. She loves the lifestyle.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're really very pleasant. In fact, some
Yeah.
of them used to provide dinner.
Yep, extended
Oh, wow.
stay.
Yeah,
stayed
the
down in-
Hilton. The
Mhm.
Hilton provides, I think, breakfast or cocktail hour or something. So, yeah.
Cocktails. Okay, Carlisle, you got your hand up. I see that. He's muted.
There we go. Yeah, this time I actually wrote the question down, which seemed like a very well, something I've always had trouble with is how soon do you follow up with certain people? For example, you go to an open house, you found a buyer, the buyer's enthusiastic, but say they're going to be like, they say they're not going to be looking for about 2 months out. How soon do you follow up with that guy? So, or when you're just going after your somebody who you only have an address for, you haven't met this person. How soon do you follow up with that person? Is there
So
any
here's what I
rule?
would say is I believe, and we can chatter on this, but I believe that very soon, like the follow-up is immediately just to say, it was really great meeting you, John. I know you're not ready for the next 2 months or so, but would you mind? I'm going to put you on an automated search that will just keep properties in front of you, if that'd be okay. Like, but I just wanted to say it was a pleasure meeting you. And
Yep.
anything I can do, anybody else you know that might need my services, please let me know. You know where to find me.
And just reiterate to your point and to underline what you said, Mary Beth, is, hey, I know you're not ready now.
Hi, Richard. How are you? It's Ariane.
Hi, Ariane. It's not Richard.
I
Okay. So,
And
Yeah.
find out why they're not ready. Kind of get into the weeds with that a little bit if you can.
and that's so a question back to somebody who says, we're not ready. What would have to happen in order for you to be ready? What has
Yeah.
to line up for you in your life for you to be ready? I just want to understand so that I know when I'm ready to help. I don't want to be on you, and I don't want you to miss opportunities, but here's what what does concern me by leaving somebody get some space is that they don't really understand how quickly it could happen, and they don't really understand process. And then they go meet Danny at the next open house, and he's on it, and he's telling them, oh my gosh, you could be in your new house in a month. And she likes what she hears, and now she's moving in a month. So consumers don't do this every day. They don't realize how fast or how long it could take. And we just need to educate them. So if not just for educational purposes, I would reach out immediately for open houses. If you have a street address, look, the reality is their home might be perfect for one of our buyers. And I know you said you weren't going to be selling for another year or so, but I just wanted to give you an opportunity. If I had a buyer, would you show the house? No. Okay, fair enough. You know where to find me.
I think if you do an open house on a Sunday, I think put it in your calendar, Monday evening, Monday afternoon, Monday evening, follow up. My feeling has always been, don't wait till the end of the week. They've forgotten you. They may have
totally
gone to
forgot
other
you.
open houses.
They
And-
totally forgot you. I'll tell you, Megan Wubenhorst and Kurt Wubenhorst, one of their best things they used to do was record themselves in the house with a video just saying, thank you so much for coming by. We just want to, at 123 Main Street, we're Kurt and Megan Wubenhorst, remember, like just some cute little message.
Yep.
And then they would text message that video message to every client that came through before they even left the house.
And that
Okay.
makes them so different from the other people following up. I love it.
Yeah.
It's different, memorable.
And to Patty's point, though, Monday for me, I've told you guys this before. Monday night, 5 to 8, me and Bobby Franco in the office prospecting crazy, because Monday day was all like, I got to follow up on the open house. I got to make sure my sellers know what's going on. Maybe I have a negotiating. I'm going to negotiate an offer. Monday mornings, I'll be honest, as an agent, I took a little downtime. It was like, okay, the whole weekend, whew, I'm gonna go get my toes done. I'm gonna have breakfast. I'm gonna go to the gym. And then I'd be in because I knew I was gonna put in a late night. Because Monday, what does everybody do? Even the cutie couple that came through your open house, Dan, they went back to work today or Monday, whatever. What day is it? It's Tuesday. They went back to work on Monday. So Monday at 10 o'clock, that person is not trying to talk to you. They've got to do their job because they're buying a house. So they got to do their job really good. But 5 to 8 at night, I could get you because it's fresh and you're done with work. And that's why I also say to you, for your sphere of influence, it's really a midweek call. It's a Tuesday, Wednesday call. You're not going to call your sphere of influence on a Monday when they're back at work, or Friday when they're trying to figure out where they're going. And so to that, I mean, you could structure all of your lead generation around Tuesdays and Wednesdays and really bulk it up. That's something else I used to do now that I think about it was I did not call every day on fresh prospecting, but I did have long runs on Monday and Tuesday nights and Wednesday during the day. And then Friday I was out on the streets door knocking, get me out with some people. Saturday, door knocking.
And what I'm seeing too, talking about getting ready for the fall market, or what are we doing during the summer? Some of the towns are resuming their town fairs.
Yes.
All right. And that's a great opportunity for maybe a couple of you to share a booth if you live in the same town or work in the same town.
Yes.
Share a booth, and but it takes some time to get ready.
Is anybody doing anything like that? I do have a couple examples.
Yeah, I have a question on that, Patty. That's a great point, because I was thinking that, but when you say get a booth, should I call someone like from Atlantic Home Loans or someone to come with me? Because what will I do by myself there? You know what I mean?
Well, you do a couple things. First of all, don't forget the people coming aren't there to find a realtor, but you're there to make a connection. So if it's a nice booth, and usually it's the town recreation committee. So you reach out to the town, find out if they, what their fee is, and then they usually have an orientation time so that you know exactly when to get there. I would encourage you to have one of those tents, because if it's a hot day, and where'd you go? September, you want the protection of the shade. Buy stuff to hand out, maybe personalized stuff that they would find interesting, and or have some sort of a gift to raffle. I had a connection with a bicycle shop, and I would raffle a bicycle. So the kids would bring their parents over. They have to sign in because you have to be able to reach them when they win. And it's also good to have little stuff for them to kind of grab and eat, maybe some candy. Make sure it's not chocolate.
Lollipops. Kids love
nuts.
Lollipops. You get a balloon. If you go get a helium tank, kids love balloons. You can get
And that
balloons.
looks great on the tent too. And it marks you, the red and white balloons. So it's a great thing. You
Listen,
meet
people
you
are
have
always
fun.
People are always like, oh, trying to be all fancy. Like, I'm going to bring the technology and the TV
No,
and the
no.
touch. Like, no. You're on the ground.
It's not the
grass.
place.
People they want a cold water. Make yourself some labels to go around the water bottles.
Yep.
So they want a cold bottle of water. The kids want a
Candy.
balloon and candy, chips with your, maybe your business card stapled to it.
And the clips. The clips.
Chip clips. They love them.
Order a Keller Williams shirt of some type. All right. Make
how
sure
much
you've
all
got
this cost, like
$1 million, Parul, $1 million.
Yeah.
No,
Actually,
honestly,
the booth in Mawa, I think back, the booth
$100?
itself is a lot more.
in Mawa. Okay,
Yeah.
so every town is very different because
Yeah.
there are some towns that it's $100. Then you have a county fair that might be something more. If you're
Yeah.
getting into something a little more expensive, maybe you are trying to pull a partner in that like an Atlantic
Right.
Home Loans or something.
Yeah.
Another great thing that I would suggest, and I was big on booths because you guys know me. I'm like energy. I need to be around people. So
Really?
put me out on a field and be like, hey, what's going on? Oh my God, here's the market. A flyer that just shows them here everything that went on in this town, a snapshot, piles of that. But what I used to do was I'd have, remember when the Beanie Babies were really hot? Yeah, Beanie Babies, right? So I would have the Beanie Babies there that attract the kids. How about the Johnny Walker blue or black? That would attract the guys, and then the ladies, maybe a bag or something. So I had something for everybody. And yeah, we had to raise some money. It was usually my team or some other agents. We would work the booth together and just rotate the
Yep.
leads. But
Have shifts.
now,
Have
yeah,
shifts.
so now you have like the Ring doorbell. What an appropriate gift to be putting out on raffle, because we're realtors and we sell houses, and here's something to protect your house. And now every time they think about, it's you. So there's definite like pens. Everybody needs a pen. I remember I date this guy I used to date. He would go to the trade fairs and get all the highlighters. He just would take the highlighters, like, okay, whatever. But people love stuff like that. Free stuff people love.
Chip clips can be personalized. That's what's
Now,
nice with the chip clips.
Parul asked like how much. You do have to spend a little money to invest in yourself. I was talking today about well, actually yesterday, somebody works for Aflac. I don't know if she's on here, but we know what Aflac is, right? Whether you know what it is or not, you know it's a duck, and it's like Aflac. It's something with insurance, and we know about it because it's getting marketed to us like every day. How do you expect somebody to choose you if you're not marketing to them? Like, how do you expect people to know about you if you don't have a brand, if you don't have something that's like, oh yeah, that's that girl. Oh yeah, she does that. Oh, he's always over there.
And this is in your primary geographic marketing area. So it's only one arm of your marketing plan.
And why you do it there, why you do it in your geographic area where you go and buy your milk and buy your lottery tickets and go to the shop, right? Because there might be a chance that the DeMesas see you in Value City and you're like, hey, how are you? Right? But all of that is just reinforcing, hi, I'm a brand and I'm local and I'm your community local realtor.
Yep, community.
And here's how you choose me. Because there's one thing to be visual and whatever, and they're like, yeah, but how do I get in touch with her? There should always be a call to action. Contact me. Call me today. Would you like an analysis? Contact me. Cell phone number.
Yeah. Mary Beth, and I see we've got a couple hands, but this is quick. My neighborhood is having an ice cream social. They get like a Good Humor truck. They put flyers in the mailboxes. It's tomorrow, I think between 4 and 6. If you're interested, BYOB. And they have, the Good Humor, that costs nothing. Really, I don't know how much it costs the Good Humor, but everybody pays for their own.
Right. So
It's
you're
not-
just bringing him in. He's not going to cost anything. He's just going to come
That's
and sell
right.
his ice cream.
That's right, and it's BYOB. Neighbors are standing out on the front lawn or in the street.
Any ice cream truck would love to know that you have a group of kids that want to buy their ice cream. Could you be here at this time?
Yep.
My
and it's
sister
your
does that
neighborhood.
all the time for her children in the community for birthday parties and whatnot. And just before I get to the cans, I just want to give you a couple other things. Movie night in the backyard.
Mhm.
Movie night. Could you do a block party? I did a block party once. You go to the town, you just get the shutdown, you get the police, shutdown of a certain area. And then you just be the organizer, the leader that says, hey, we need this many dishes, this many desserts, this many drinks. Who's signing up?
Yep.
I'm sure right now, everybody would love to come back out. We have one of our agents who's doing a huge event for the kindergarten class that's going into kindergarten this year with 100 families that are going to be attending. Nicole Romanek had great success with her yard sale, her town-wide yard sale. I had actually done that in my neighborhood as well. And I know the Minetti Dentist team I believe they're out of Ramsey is their market.
Yes.
They kill it with their yard
Kill
sale
it.
every year.
Kill it. They are. I don't think there's, you talk about you need to be number 1 or number 2 where you don't exist in the consumer's mind. They're number 1 and number 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
That's
and
what you wanna do,
Nicole
guys.
went out and talked to them, said, hey, how do you do that? What do you do? And then when Nicole was sharing with them what she does, they were like, hey, we could learn a little bit about what you're doing too, because
Yeah,
you're doing some
sure.
things better than us also. So there are agents that are doing stuff out there that you go, could I do that? Yes, you can. And you could do even more and different. Angie, John, and then Danny.
I like disco. I think that was a good,
Yeah.
good
Easily
nickname.
change it back. Just let me know.
Yeah,
Angie.
could you like join a town event and like get together with another agent
Yes.
and share like 50-50
Mhm.
Yep.
the clients? Is
Yeah,
it
try to make
possible?
it in your same market center.
Yeah, I would try to
Okay.
make it in your same market center and somebody that works that market as well. And if you really get along, share all the leads.
Mhm.
Like if
That's
it's
what I
like,
meant.
hey, yeah, like listen, everything that we get from this event, we're gonna split 50-50.
Okay,
Because
yeah.
I'm not
that's
gonna
a
monitor
great
that
idea.
Angie's over here talking to this one, and then I'm over here talking to this one, and I don't remember the name that went in the box. They put the name on it because we're gonna pull the winners. Let's just team up for this event.
Yeah, or divide them evenly afterwards. Yeah, is that
Yep.
what you mean?
Danny or John, you raised your hand, and did we forget it again?
Took it down again. No, I didn't forget this
Damn it.
time, but it was up for the last question. I think I forgot to take it down.
Okay.
So I did forget.
Okay.
Oops, oh well.
Ginkgo biloba. Biloba. Danny.
So just about I was thinking in the medical industry, it's against the law to kind of promote a certain service among salespeople to get their business. So I guess that doesn't apply to real estate.
Right. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. The pharmaceutical salespeople can no longer offer vacations, golf memberships, and all sorts of.
So we are
Things.
giving, we're just giving them a chance at winning an item, and
Yeah.
they're just filling out, they're putting in the raffle, and they're doing it themselves. There's nothing against that, no.
But
Now, if you were saying, if you want this, if you do business with me, you're gonna get put in for this, then
Yeah.
that would be against the rules. You
That's
can't
right.
say, yeah,
and
So
the
you-
town that is hosting the like the town event usually gets the raffle permit, but do make that part of your question because you have to have a permit to raffle.
Okay, so if you have an item, the best route is to have a raffle. Here's your chance to win these, whatever.
yeah,
Whatever.
just fill it out.
Yep.
Okay.
But
it's
you have to
open
give
every
everybody the equal chance,
Yeah.
and everybody has to
Adults.
be able to, yeah.
18 and over.
Okay, thank you.
So, yeah, where you get in trouble is, well, if you list with me, you'll get entered into this.
Yes. Okay.
And
Mhm.
offer it to everybody. You don't want somebody to feel they were excluded.
That's right. Every single person.
Every single adult.
And every single adult. And there was one other thing I wanted to share with you. Oh, Angie said about community. I just thought to my Chamber of Commerce. Are you guys
Yep.
involved with
Yes, go
your
to
Chamber of
that too.
Commerce?
Squirrel.
Are you involved in your your
Chamber.
church Rotary? Are you involved
Yeah.
in the PT? But Chamber of Commerce, going to what's that, the meeting, the council meetings, right? To
Mhm.
understand what's going on in your city, go to the council meetings.
Yeah, the planning board. Yeah.
We have a
And
huge
what's the,
redevelopment happening here. And if you want to be in on the know, you got to go to the council meetings. You got to go to the planning board meetings.
Yeah, there's some other business groups that get together.
Like LATIP and
yeah.
BNI. I think Dan mentioned
Yeah.
that before.
Yep.
That you can pay to be part of the networking group. And like I've shared, you could start your own as well. But there are groups out there to get involved with, and you don't need to go in full force like, well, how am I going to market myself in this group? Just show up as a leader and have conversation about the market and what you're doing.
Mhm.
And here's what I would say. And Billy Johnson, it's so nice to see you. Welcome to the family. But I
Thank
would say,
you.
hey, Billy, yeah, I would say, hey, Billy, I would love to just get together for a cup of coffee to talk about your business when you got time to sit down. Or hey, Billy, how's your business going? And he's like, what business? Do you ever ask somebody, for their business card? They're in business, they're in a business networking group with you, and you're like, hey, do you have a business card? And they're like, oh, no, I don't really have a business card. Right? So even little things, you don't realize that we are getting trained on business, period. You're business owners, that you could sit down with somebody who's starting up. I had a brother in church who was starting up a junk removal company. He's like, don't you do business consultation? I said, yeah. He said, could you sit with me and just give me some,
Aw,
you know
yeah.
what? He went out, got his LLC, he got registered, he bought a truck, and he's up in business. He's got one employee. Him and that guy are doing clean outs. So if anybody ever needs, it's Revival Junk Removal. But in 1 year, he got it up and running because I put the business plan. I said, I'm not going to talk to you unless you get a business plan, you get an LLC, and you get business cards. Otherwise, you have nothing else to market yourself. You're just talking about an idea. So imagine you sit down with somebody in your BNI group and you pour into them a little bit like a business coach, and they go and make more money and have a better life because you did that. You
Yeah.
don't think that guy's going to be loyal to you to give you every stitch of real estate business that comes through his fingers? Right? That's the purpose of
Yeah.
what we do, is help people so that they choose us. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody else have anything they want to share before we end today?
And a little early today, yeah.
No? Okay.
I have a question.
Nabila, Nikisha.
Yeah. So I was working with buyers who were looking in Jersey and New York, and they ended up finding somewhere in New York. Just the price point was just a little bit better for them.
Mhm.
I was at first like a little disappointed, but I'm like, all right, it's fine. It's the first. It's, it's harder for me because I have a full-time job to like work everything out. So I was definitely concentrating a lot on that. But then my other friend who was looking to list at some point and then changed her mind now has also decided to go back on and list, which I think I need a one-on-one with you, Mary Beth, to talk about a lot of that one, because it's a little complicated. It's in Oradell. And when I do like a search to kind of help her and talk to her about pricing, I don't find there's so much variations in pricing that I'm finding it really difficult to do.
Sure.
Like the CMA for her. So I think I definitely need a one-on-one with that. But
Sure.
right now I feel like there's something I should do. Like I need a sign. I definitely should have a sign regardless, right? Whether or not I have a listing pending or not, because eventually when it happens, I need to have
Right.
that ready.
That's
Right.
right.
So besides like having the sign, I wanted to possibly make my farm where I live, just like we talk about, right?
Yep.
And reach out to folks in the neighborhood and kind of do that market analysis that you spoke of, I think
Mhm.
yesterday and a little bit today.
Mhm.
How do I do this market analysis? I think I'm a little confused. It's on MLS that I do that.
Sure. So
Yeah.
would it be beneficial if we did that next week? I know maybe Nikisha, you and I might need a one-on-one for something more urgent, but would it be beneficial that Patty and I could show you how we would tear apart
Sure.
the property to give you a CMA for next week?
Oh yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
looking, and Nikisha, please join me for Career Builders tonight
Yeah.
from 6 to 7:30.
Okay.
And
Yes.
anybody who's new, please, tonight's our first session back. It's going to be about an hour and a half, and it's going to go over identifying your key learning resources. It's so many.
Yeah, that's good.
Make sure you.
Is that going to be
you-
recorded, Patty?
Yes.
If I remember, John. are you
John,
gonna
John,
remind me?
John Carlisle, you remind Patty to record
Yes,
tonight.
Remind me. If anybody's
Oh,
on,
God.
please say
Who's
Patty.
going to remind
record it."
John to remind Patty?
Well, it looks like
Abila,
Mark-
remind John,
Yeah,
please.
I'm just
Is there gonna
looking.
be a link?
Yeah,
Okay, good.
yeah.
so, yeah, and so we'll do that next week. I will tear apart because I did that with Bella today on a property with Plainfield. And I think Bella, she can't talk right now because she's at work, but Bella, you can jump on the 6 to 7:30 call tonight with Patty as well and really get some value. But Bella was like, oh my gosh, now I feel confident.
Yeah, we'll do it next week because I'm not doing it in the evening session till September. I was just
Okay.
looking at the agenda.
Okay, so let's do it next week. Nabila, go ahead. And Layla, were you trying to say something?
I was just asking if there was a link, but I still hadn't copied it
Okay,
for the
perfect.
career builders.
It should be also in your Google Calendar for anybody, for your
Yeah.
coaching lobby Google Calendar. Nabila.
I had a question.
Nabila got a
You just said-
listing.
Yay!
Thank you. About that, you said you shouldn't list on Monday, but my listing is signed to go on Monday.
I don't care. Just put it on. I just want your
Yeah.
listing on.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I mean, look, you just want
no-
to,
No
Be
sin
conscious.
against it. It's strategy.
yeah, there is no sin against it. You just want to be conscious of the marketing, that you don't have offers coming in and then you're playing with that, just be open and honest with the agents. If you start seeing a flood of showings come, I would tell those agents, listen, we're probably not going to make a decision until Sunday or Monday, just so that you know. in case they want to hold off on putting their offers.
Yeah.
So they don't feel like you're using it to, negotiate with other offers.
Yeah, I understand that. And my sellers, I did ask them if they were to get offers that they, an offer that they like before the weekend, would they still be wanting to do an open house? And they said no, there wouldn't be no need for it. So
Okay.
I guess I don't really have to be concerned about
That's
that.
right. Okay,
Like
so
dragging
good.
it on too long.
That's right.
Okay.
Good. Perfect. All right, guys, it's been real. You'll see Patty later. For those of you who came onto the BCP call this morning, thank you so much for being patient with me. There was something wrong with the link, but we have now got a new link. So just so you know, it's tinyurl.com/BCP call. Just BCP call. That will get you there. Every morning, 9:15 to 9:45, we are just talking through some kinks and getting you ready to go prospect. And remember, every morning at 8:45 is the mindset call. So we get those two in, you should be set up to go conquer the day. So
No
I
kidding.
appreciate you guys. I appreciate
you.
Patty, my cohort here.
Thank you, everybody.
All right,
Thank you,
thanks,
Mary
guys.
Beth.
Have a great
Thank you,
week.
Patty.
Thank
Very
you.
much
Our,
appreciated.
our Mary Beth is a great visionary, so we're very, very pleased and honored. She's
Big
driving
picture,
the
Patty,
bus.
big picture.
Big picture. Yep.
Thank you
Okay.
all.
Bye,
Take
guys.
care.
Bye-bye.
Take care.